So in the first section of the 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympic Games media training, we're going to go over some social media best practices, as well as how to build your brand and really levitate the attention that you are going to get from being in the Olympics game to your own personal advantage. So let's have a look. So the best social media has really come a long way in a very short amount of time. There's really quite a lot of pros that are to it. It's the fastest way that you can communicate to your fans. You control the message. It's quite fun, and it's a direct relationship with fans. So rather than having to spend long hours in a video studio or doing a photo shoot, you can now control your own image, your own message. You can take people along on your journey, and you get to essentially control what they know, what they see of you, how you look. And the benefit of this is once you get a solid social media audience following you, it can really even be more powerful than sometimes broadcasting your story or being in a newspaper, as some athletes have such large following that they actually have larger audiences than traditional media outlets. So it really is advantageous for you to take advantage of the power that you have. Of course, the cons of it is that while you can control your message, you can't control how people respond to your message. It's also quite easy to get into trouble with in social media. It's easy to misuse social media, to fire off quickly before thinking about things. And even when you delete posts, once it's out there, screenshots, people taking photos on their pictures on their phones. Even if you delete something and apologize later, that image is stuck. So let's look at some important social media platforms. Of course, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vine, Snapchat, and Periscope are probably the largest platforms that are out there now, especially for the English-speaking world. Facebook continues to reinvent itself. We've seen recently with the advent of live video that it's making another resurgence. It's also, of course, taking over other social media platforms, and as we have just seen with Facebook owning Instagram, and they have implemented essentially the same method of social media as Snapchat. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to these platforms. They're constantly changing, so you do have to keep an eye on things somewhat, but there's the 6 major platforms there. LinkedIn has made a resurgence. A lot of people, it's become more of a news sharing platform, kind of a Facebook stream, if you will. So it's a really great place to share articles about yourself, to share things that you're interested in that you also agree with there. So if you haven't considered, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you might want to consider putting your bio information on your sponsors, basically creating that as a personal small web page. In Russia, VK is the large social media outlet, and in China, of course, has an absolute massive following on a number of outlets, but Sina Weibo is the major outlet there. All right, so some do's and don'ts for social media. Some do's: regularly interact with your fans, sponsors, and media outlets. Social media does require a bit of time. It can be fun, but it does require that you post, more than once a month, more than once a week to build a following. It needs to be regular to keep that following, to keep your audience following you, to keep you relevant. So post some photos and videos, and not just a post race. Post photos and videos of your daily. People really want to see. We know from surveys that we've done that people really want to see the behind the scenes, what goes into your training, what are you training, how are you training, what tools are you using. And it's quite easy now to grab your phone and just record a really quick 1-minute clip that you can throw onto Instagram. It takes practically no effort and very little thought, and people will start to follow you as somebody that gives tips. So spend a little bit of time about the kinds of things that you're interested in and the kinds of things that people can learn from you. So not just post-race. That is important for post-race information, that it's immediate. People want information immediately. So get those photos, get those post-race reports out there quickly. Be yourself, be funny, be silly, be goofy. Let people into your life. They're not looking for another, for you to be behind a curtain. They really want to know. They really want to. Right, so this is an opportunity for you to build your own brand, to be your own publicist, to tell the story that you want to tell. What are you interested in? Are you interested? This doesn't have to be your social media. It doesn't have to be only about triathlon. It can be about other things that you're interested in. And if you are interested in, say, cooking, then you should really post a lot of things so that people come back to recognize that you are associated with this activity. Pay attention to social trends and try to recreate them if you know something about them. This video here that we unfortunately can't play, but it's the USA Olympic team from 2012 when Call Me Maybe song was really popular and athletes were recreating different videos. So if you get a chance, watch that 3-minute video. It's quite great. It went viral. They were on morning shows talking about it. And it was a really great way to show their kind of goofy, relaxed side ahead of the Olympics. Quality over quantity. We've definitely seen that the quality of the things that you post over the quantity of the things you post, especially on Facebook, is more important. So produce good things and you don't have to produce as many things. All right, so what are some trends in social media right now? So on Facebook, especially right now, the thing that is getting the most traction is live videos. It's quite easy for you to do this, to set this up yourself. If you can get some sort of mechanism where you attach something to your bike, take people for a ride with you, take people out on your training rides with you. Set up a Q&A on your own and advertise it. Get a couple of magazines to retweet it, to repost it. Get some people to submit some questions, and as soon as that live video is going, your fans will start to generate questions for you. That is the thing that Facebook's really pushing, so that's the thing that's getting the most likes. When posting photos, try to post really quality photos or some funny photos. Behind the scenes photos with your pets. Pets always do really well in photos, but not just, don't just throw up the standard out for a ride photo. Really try to make it something different, something that your fans aren't going to see from another triathlete. As I mentioned before, make sure you post as soon as you can. This is a want it now society. If they don't find it on your channel, they're going to go somewhere else. Okay, so if they don't see post-race photos on your channel, they're going to go looking for it somewhere else, on some other magazine outlet or in some other athlete's outlet. Social media users love science. This is a really massive trend. Quite a lot of social media outlets that have really big followings. National Geographic has over 1 million people. People really want information, which is really great for you guys because you can share tips, you can share videos, you can share drills, you can share the knowledge that you have. The age group community absolutely loves that stuff. And you can get your sponsors behind it too. What kind of gear do they want to push, and how can you incorporate that into some of the videos that you're doing organically without it really looking like a sponsored push. So we know from some surveys that the triathlon community wants behind the scenes information, tips, and athlete info, meaning info on your life and who you are outside of the sport. So here are some videos. These links don't work here in the video, but spend some time on this page, have a look at some of these videos. This last one here, engage with teammates, fans, friends, volunteers, bring them to the social conversation. This is a really great video just posted by Lolo Jones. Michael Phelps is doing this a lot right now too. Literally just hopping out of a workout and talking to fans, just having a conversation with them one-on-one is proving to be really interactive and really popular. So some other things. NASA has 7 million followers. Who knew NASA could be so cool? But putting them on par with Beyonce and Justin Bieber. So that's really that kind of, you don't have to be a pop star or to be so popular. You can really build your own brand by being by giving them the kind of information that they want. The Olympics are expected to be the hashtag games. So take your fans with them, show them behind the scenes, answer questions on the way to practice, post little 30-second clips of the excitement of checking into your hotel. Don't show your location, don't post in accredited areas, but you can definitely do things that bring your fans on your Olympic journey with you. Have fun with it. You're competing against 54 other people in Rio, but against 9,999 other athletes for attention. So bring the attention to you. This is your time to shine, your time you've worked for 8, 12 years to get to this point. Make sure you maximize every potential that you're getting from it, not just your athletic potential, but also the potential that you can elongate your career after the Olympics by what you're doing during the Olympics. Okay, so know your audience. Here are some statistics from the ITU World Triathlon page. We know that 26% of our fans are women, which we're trying to increase, and 73% of them are men. The main age groups are between 25 and 44. It's been encouraging to see the 18 to 24 category rise quite a bit, but the majority are still in that 25 to 44 year age range. The great news for everyone coming into Rio is that Brazil is number 2 in the world on Facebook and Instagram. So really make sure that you're activating on Facebook and Instagram while you're here. We know from the young millennials that they don't see themselves, they don't necessarily identify as being from one country. They see themselves as being global. They follow global superstars. They follow people from other countries. They interact with other people their age from other countries. So don't only target yourself, limit yourself to your country. Think about where you train. You have following there. If you train in Spain, you will definitely have a following there, even if you're not Spanish. A lot of people train in Australia, and they'll definitely have a very strong following there. So you don't have to cater only to your audience, but definitely know who your audience is. All right, so some social media don'ts. Obviously, don't be insulting, rude, or vulgar. Don't get into Twitter battles, arguments. Even if you're right, it practically never looks good. It makes you look defensive and aggravated, and it never really comes off on your profile. Don't recreate a trend if you don't know what it's about. Earlier we talked about recreating trends, but only those sorts of trends that you're familiar with and that you could do a good job in executing. Again, remembering quality over quantity. Don't post offensive photos. You might not think it's offensive, but think of where you are culturally and what could be offensive to where you're racing. This example of the Spanish basketball team, they completely thought it was funny and had no idea that it could be construed as being something that's racist. So don't offend the local cultural unknowingly. And never, ever, ever post when you've been having some post-race drinks, you're under the influence, when you're angry or upset. If you're angry, just put your phone away and come back to it for another day. So let's look at some examples of things not to do. Be very careful with direct messaging. This is an example of thinking that a man that was married, thinking that he was direct messaging and he sent it out to the public, and obviously, even though he deleted it, it still lives on the internet. All right, so if you aren't certain, don't tweet it. This is an athlete saying that he was really upset that Robin Williams died, and he'd always liked his songs, which we know Robin Williams that's the wrong Robin Williams. Okay, so anything to do with anti-doping, just unless you're excited that they've woken you up at 6 in the morning, just don't post about it. Important counts to follow, not only for building your own brand, but in the lead up to the Olympics as well. Obviously, the ITU World Triathlon is pretty much the handle for all of our accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Snapchat. We also use Triathlon Live for live updates on races. So we'll have all of those going in Rio. Triathlon Live we will also have going, like we do for every other race. We'll have live updates, so that is where your friends and family can go. We won't be posting video, but we will be posting photos and updates of where everyone is in the race. So make sure you're following the IOC channels. Those are pretty much all Olympics. The handle is @Olympics. The IOC Facebook, or the Olympics Facebook, has more than 12 million followers on there. So it's really important if you get a mention from them, if you get a repost from them, that is absolutely massive to your brand. Think about maybe your hometown newspaper would not have nearly, unless you're from New York City, is not going to have 12 million people. You're not going to have an audience of 12 million people. So getting a video on there will be massively important. The Olympics, not for your sponsors, but for you as a person, which eventually will be important for your sponsors. So make sure you're interacting with all of your National Olympic Committee, with your National Federation, of course with your sponsors, not during the games, but make sure in general outside of the Olympics that you have your sponsors, that you're following them, that you know what they're doing. Follow other celebrities. It doesn't have to be, again, thinking of the example of NASA having 7 million followers, it's as popular as Justin Bieber or Beyonce. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the most important person, but somebody that has a large, strong following and will retweet, reshare, repost, that will interact with you as well. Sports outlets, make sure you know your sports outlets and triathlon outlets. This is basically your bread and butter of improving your followers, of building your audience. So again, we've just gone over this here, the IOC and the ROCOG platform. So it's @Olympics on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, VK, Sina Weibo, Vine, Snapchat, and Periscope. It's also operating in 9 languages. So not only for those English speakers that are listening today, but for everyone out there, they've pretty much got the entire span covered. For Rio, it is Rio 2016 for all of their social media outlets. Another reason why it's so important for you to tag them in your social media postings is how well we do on social media, triathlon as a sport, not just ITU, but how much we get triathlon trending during the Olympics is a big factor in how much funding comes back to ITU, which in turn means how much funding comes back to you as the athletes, comes back to continental confederations, goes back to sport development. So it's really important that you encourage your followers to tag these outlets as well, to search for triathlon, to visit the triathlon sections of the IOC and ROCOG websites. On that note, there was a video here, but you can't see it. The Athletes Hub. So in a bid to strengthen support to athletes, as reinforced in Olympic Agenda 2020, the Hub aims to be a virtual home and a one-stop shop for all games-related information for Olympians and elite athletes. If you've got a question about Rule 40, hit up the Athletes Hub. If you want to interact with other athletes, if you are thinking of retiring and you're looking for some post-career information, any questions, they have a lot of former athletes on there commentating, so it's definitely a great resource for you as an athlete. Campaigns during the Olympics. ITU has launched a campaign called This is Triathlon. We want to levitate all of the attention that you guys are going to bring to the world of triathlon during the Olympics and use that to make our sport bigger and better than ever. So we've launched this campaign. We want to get as many people posting photos of themselves doing triathlon to support all of you guys and to show how great our sport is to the world. So use those hashtags. This is triathlon 2016. And let's get triathlon trending during the month of August. The IOC's campaign is Together We Can Change the World. It is a campaign launched to communicate the Olympic movement vision and to communicate a better world using the Olympic sport for peace. Okay, so rules on what you can do in Rio. Can you post photos? Absolutely, you can post photos. That is not an issue, but don't post photos of someone else without their permission. There are, especially in the athlete village and in the Olympic media, in the Olympic area, there are specific areas that are marked no photos. So no photos in those zones, but everywhere else is okay. No being a journalist. Don't report on someone else's activities. You can take photos to document your own journey and to share with friends and family and fans, but not on somebody else's. Nor can you use photos for a commercial purpose. So you can't go back and use these photos for your sponsors. You can't commercialize them. You can't monetize them in any way. Can you blog? Absolutely. Just again, you can't be a journalist, so no writing about other athletes, no disclosing confidential information, and no commercializing, monetizing the blog. Video. Video is a really big one for the 2016 Olympics because everyone is on Snapchat where video disappears. Instagram, we've now got some disappearing stories going on there as well. Live video on Facebook. I've just told you how important live video is, but you can't do it in the Olympics, at least not in accredited areas. So if you want to post something, if you want to film something, film it. Share it when you get home with friends and family. Keep it as a keepsake, as a memory, but don't post it on your social media outlets. So that means no live streaming, no Periscope, no Snapchat videos, no Facebook Live. Anywhere that requires a credential, basically don't video. Olympic rings and mascots, just stay away from them. Can you post about your sponsors? Everybody, all of you guys know about those rules already. It's just better to be safe than sorry. Just don't do it.